死なないために死ぬほど準備することなんて絵に秘められたことでしょう。光栄だけど買いかぶりっすよ。
Hello guys, it's me Simo Orohara, and in this video I'll talk about one of Kubo's biggest creations regarding the similarities that he made between the creature White and the shape of the Vasto Lord of Ichigo. And actually this is a good chance to respond about who tell you why you call this form Vasto Lord. No, he's not a Vasto Lord. Okay man, we know that. This is very clear and doesn't need any explanation. We already know that this is not a Vasto Lord. And the Vasto Lord is the third form of the Minos, and Minos who are pure hollow. But we call this form Vasto Lord because the shape of Ichigo in this form is similar to the body known for the type of the Vasto Lord. They are of size close to the human size in terms of shape. So the name is for the sake of analogy, only because of that. And on the other hand, before we talk about this topic of this video, I have to talk about the cover of the volume 16. I have said before that this is my favorite cover so far because I like how Kubo made Masaki's features, but when I have read again the flashback of her, I have noticed something new about this cover, something very important. In your opinion, why did Kubo draw Masaki like this? Why is she looking at the sky? More than that, he could have drawn her in her youngest appearance, but Kubo deliberately chose to make her in her last appearance in the story. What I think, this cover is the scene of Masaki looking at the sky while Yhwach was performing the Auswählen. And keep in mind, she was wearing these clothes the same day of Yhwach's performance of the Auswählen. And I think you will have watched the recent trailer, and they showed us Yhwach performing the Auswählen from the sky. The way she looks up indicates that she was looking at something far away on the horizon. For that, I would frankly like to see this incident in the anime in some detail, like seeing the moment when Yhwach performs the Auswählen and at the same time seeing the moments of both Masaki and Katagiri before and after they exposed to the Auswählen. Now returning to our topic, showing you the similarities will show you how the spiritual power can make the difference in terms of the efficiency of the abilities. Therefore, no matter how deadly an ability, without a spiritual power to work as a booster of it, the ability would look like useless in front of a person with very high spiritual power. The same principle happened with White in Ichigo's Vasto Lord. Of course, I'm not saying that White was weak, no, but after he became a container for Ichigo's Shinigami power, his original abilities that he had shown in his fight against Isshin were at another level when Ichigo used them with his great Shinigami power against Elcura. So, in order to begin with the similarities that exist between these two beasts, the first of them is the shape. They have long hair, and in the official coloring of Shueisha, they put white hair color on white. And I don't know if this is the true color or maybe it will be different in the anime. In addition to that, there are horns. However, as you can see, the horns of White are smaller compared to Ichigo's horns, and this is evident due to Isshin's Shinigami power. And another thing is the hole. If you notice, White's hole is not normal at all. First, it's larger than the usual holes of hollows. Secondly, it has something blocking that hole. That matter is what we saw in Aizen's lab. Perhaps that matter is one of the main factors in White's power. And it is a strange coincidence that the same size of the hole in White's chest is almost the same that Elcura formed in Ichigo's chest. And from that hole, Ichigo formed the Vasto Lord form. Another similarity that we can find is the roar of each one of them. And as you can see, Ichigo's roar was much stronger. And both Isshin and Elcura were trying to figure what kind of creature is White and Ichigo's form, especially since we're talking about a creature that has the power of both Shinigami and Hollow. When you see White, you will say that he is Hollow, but when he fights you, you will see that his fighting style is like if you were fighting a Shinigami. And the same thing with Elcura. In the beginning, he was fighting Ichigo on the basis that he was a Shinigami. Then suddenly, he found himself fighting a creature that looked exactly like a Hollow. And we come to Zero. Both of them released the Zero from the two horns, but of course, Ichigo's Zero was another level of power. It gives you a picture of what kind of power he has, and all those powers moved to Ichigo. I mean, unlike the rest of the other Shinigami, Ichigo was given the best Asauchi the person can have. A unique Asauchi Sauchi with such incredible abilities. Also, some of the dialogues in the two fights are similar in some scenes. For example, when Ichigo transformed in front of Ilikura, he asked him about his new form, and then Ilikura said, "You don't understand what I'm saying." The same thing happened with Isshin when he said, "Who is behind you?" And when White didn't answer, then Isshin said, "Of course you won't answer." I want to point out that Isshin frankly is a great character. Despite the funny character he shows for his family, but he is one of the most intelligent captains in Bleach. Only from that brief clash between him and White, he knew that White does not move alone, because a creature of this shape and power, the Shinigami should know about his existence. That's why Isshin concluded that there is someone in the Soul Society covering him up, and Isshin called him a traitor. He also learned that there was another person on the battlefield when Aizen stabbed him with his Zanpakuto, and this shows you how much Isshin's combat experience is. Back to the similarities between White and the Vasto Lord, there is the killing instinct. For example, if you want to talk about Holos in general, we know that the strongest level are found in Adiokas and the Vasto Lord, and their strength is accompanied by the presence of awareness and intelligence in them. And no matter how different they are from humans, at least they have some human feelings that make some of them may not kill a person just for the purpose of kill. And of course, it's to varying degrees. But when we talk about White or the Vasto Lord, we're talking about the level of Minos, and perhaps we may say that White is close to the level of Adiokas or a little stronger, while the Vasto Lord Ichigo, we're talking about a phase that is much stronger than the well-known Vasto Lord. The most prominent of that is Ilikura Vasto Lord, and didn't have a chance against Ichigo. And so the fact that White and the Vasto Lord were in such stage of power, and yet without any human consciousness, only the pure instinct of killing, it made them fight with all their powers just to kill. And it doesn't matter how much power you have, weak or strong, if you can be killed, they will go after you. And we have seen that clearly with White. At first, White didn't care about Isshin when he tried to attract him by unleashing some of his Ryatsu. White moved directly to the two officers who were at the bottom of the building, and he killed them and then came for Isshin. And at the same battle, when Isshin by fault crossed some spiritual borders of another squad zone, an officer tried to inform Isshin of that, but as soon as White saw him, he went directly to him and killed him by unleashing that Zero. And the same concept, we saw it with the Vasto Lord Ichigo. Ichigo used all his strength to defeat Ilikura and was about to kill even Yuryu. Therefore, we may say that White conveyed to Ichigo that refined instinct to kill, because if Ichigo had been conscious of his own and fought Ilikura, he wouldn't have defeated him in such a brutal way. And this is one of the things that has posed to Ichigo a big problem, since he knew that there is a hollow power inside him. Also, from the thing that we can add is that the fight that was between Ilikura and Ichigo was in the presence of an Quincy character, which is Yuryu, while in the fight of White and Isshin there was the intervene of Masaki. In the end, and this is what I find the most prominent similarity between White and Ichigo, is how you can stop them, which is broke one of their horns. When Masaki blew up the head of White, she intentionally broke one of his horns, and we saw that power came out from inside White's hole. And the same thing happened with Ichigo. Ilikura caught the horn and then a huge explosion happened. Also, when Ichigo controlled his powers in the Horn of Salvation, Yhwach broke one of his horns. So it can be said that this is one of the biggest weaknesses of Ichigo's power, and this is because White has already entered Ichigo's body with this weak point. In the end, Isshin's fight against White, it will be one of the best fights of the last arc. I even put him in the first place because of the amount of important information that has a great impact on understanding the power of Ichigo. So guys, tell me your opinion about that fight, about the similarities, and see you guys in my next video.